Welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today we're tackling insurance.
Hmm.
And yeah, we get it. It's not exactly a beach vacation.
Right.
But here's the thing. Understanding this stuff is like having a secret weapon for your financial future. We're diving into lesson 9 from that financial literacy course you sent, and trust me, these are the insider tips they don't always teach you.
I like that, a secret weapon. It's true, people often see insurance as just another bill, but when you realize it's about protecting yourself, your loved ones, and all you've worked for, it becomes a whole lot more interesting.
Totally. So the material starts with the whole insurance is about transferring risk idea. It sounds kind of technical.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
It's simpler than it sounds. Imagine this, you're driving down the road and bam, someone rear-ends you. Without auto insurance, you're looking at a mountain of expenses. Car repairs, potential medical bills, maybe even legal fees. Insurance takes that financial hit for you, transferring the risk from your shoulders to theirs.
So it's like a financial airbag. You hope you never need it, but you're sure glad it's there if you do.
Exactly. It's about having a plan for the unexpected, so that one unfortunate event doesn't derail your entire financial life.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, the lesson mentions some key insurance terms. Premium, deductible, policy limit. Can you break those down for me?
Absolutely. Let's use the car insurance example. Your premium is what you pay regularly, like a monthly membership fee to keep your coverage active. Think of your deductible as your skin in the game. If you get into that accident, it's the amount you'll pay up front before your insurance kicks in to cover the rest.
So higher deductible, lower premium makes sense, but what about the policy limit?
That's the maximum amount your insurance will pay out for a covered claim.
Yeah.
Look at upper limit on that financial safety net we talked about. So let's say you have a $50,000 policy limit for property damage on your car insurance, and the accident causes $60,000 in damages.
You'd be on the hook for that extra $10,000, right?
Precisely. That's why understanding these terms and choosing appropriate coverage limits is so crucial. You don't want to find out you're underinsured when it's too late.
Definitely not. I'm a little fuzzy on copays and coinsurance. The lesson material mentions them, but I always get them mixed up. What's the difference and why should I care?
Excellent question. These often trip people up, especially with health insurance. Let's say you go to the doctor and they diagnose you with a nasty ear infection. You might pay a $30 copay for that visit, which is a flat fee. Now imagine you need a more serious procedure, like an MRI, costing $1,000. This is where coinsurance comes in.
So the copay is like a small upfront fee, but coinsurance is when things get pricey.
You got it. Let's say your deductible for that year is $500 and you haven't met it yet. You pay the $500 deductible, leaving $500 for the MRI. If your coinsurance is 20%, you'll pay 20% of that remaining $500, which is another $100. Your insurance company covers the rest, the remaining $400.
Okay, that makes so much more sense with an example. So knowing your copay and coinsurance percentages helps you estimate your out-of-pocket costs, which is super helpful when budgeting for healthcare.
Precisely. And remember, these concepts can apply to other types of insurance too, so understanding them is key.
Speaking of types of insurance, the lesson material lists quite a few. Health, auto, life, homeowners, renters, disability, liability, wowza. That's a lot to process.
It is, yeah.
Where do we even begin?
You're right, it can feel overwhelming, and that's where tailoring this deep dive to your needs comes in handy. You mentioned thinking about starting a family and buying your first home, right?
Exactly. That's top of mind right now.
In that case, life insurance and homeowners insurance would be great places to start. They're especially relevant to your current life stage and future goals.
That makes sense. Let's dive into those then. I'm particularly curious about life insurance since I want to make sure my family is taken care of, just in case.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what life insurance is, for providing financial security for your loved ones if something were to happen to you. Imagine this. You're gone, but your income needs to continue for your family to pay the mortgage, cover daily expenses, or even fund your children's education. Life insurance steps in to fill that gap.
Wow, when you put it that way, it really hits home how important life insurance is. But I've always heard it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's a common misconception. The cost of life insurance depends on several factors, including your age, your health, the type and amount of coverage you choose. There are two main types of life insurance: term life and whole life. Term life insurance is like renting coverage for a specific period, say 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
It's generally more affordable, especially for younger, healthier individuals.
Okay, so if my main concern is covering those big expenses like the mortgage and my future kids' college fund, term life insurance could be a good option.
Exactly. It provides coverage for a defined period, which often aligns perfectly with when those financial obligations are at their peak. Now, whole life insurance is a bit different. It's more like owning your coverage. It doesn't expire and also builds cash value over time that you can borrow against later in life.
So it's like the difference between renting an apartment and owning a house. Both provide shelter, but the terms and costs are different depending on your needs and
I
goals.
like that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like with choosing a place to live, deciding between term and whole life insurance depends on your individual circumstances, your budget, your long-term financial goals.
This is already making me feel more empowered to make these decisions instead of just feeling overwhelmed by all the options.
That's what we want. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to navigating the world of insurance.
Speaking of which, let's talk about homeowners insurance. That's another big one on my list, especially as I'm hoping to buy my first place soon.
Absolutely. Just like life insurance protects your family, homeowners insurance protects your home, likely your most significant investment, from those unexpected what-if scenarios.
Like a hailstorm unleashing fury on my roof, or heaven forbid, my kitchen catching fire from my hopefully delicious cooking experiments.
Exactly. Homeowners insurance covers damage to the physical structure of your house, as well as your belongings inside. But here's something many people don't realize. It also provides liability protection.
Liability protection, what's that all about?
Let's say someone visits your home, trips on a loose step, and injures themselves. They could sue you for medical expenses or even lost wages. Liability protection, which is included in your homeowner's insurance, acts like a shield, covering those costs and legal fees.
Wow, I had no idea. It's like the safety net, not just for my belongings, but for me as a homeowner, too.
Precisely. It's about having peace of mind knowing you're protected financially if the unexpected happens.
Okay, this is all starting to click for me. But how do you even choose the right homeowner's insurance policy? There are so many options and companies out there.
You're right, it can feel overwhelming. A good starting point is to think about your specific needs and concerns. What's the value of your home and its contents? Are there any unique risks associated with your property, like being in a flood zone or having a pool?
Those are great questions. So it's not just about going with the cheapest option, right?
Exactly. The cheapest option might not offer sufficient coverage, leaving you vulnerable financially if something major were to happen. It's essential to compare policies carefully, looking beyond just the premium and focusing on the coverage details, limits, and any potential exclusions.
Exclusions. You mean like when the fine print takes away all the good stuff the policy initially promised?
You got it. Exclusions are specific situations or events that your insurance won't cover. It's crucial to read the fine print and understand what's not covered so you're not caught off guard.
Okay, so no, assuming my insurance will cover an alien invasion even if it does cause significant property damage.
Probably not. More realistically, common exclusions you might encounter include damage from floods, earthquakes, or even certain types of pests.
So it's like a game of know your exclusions before disaster strikes.
You could say that. It's always best to clarify any questions or concerns with your insurance agent or broker before signing on the dotted line. They can help you decipher the jargon and find a policy that fits your needs.
It's like having a personal insurance translator. Speaking of real-life situations, the lesson material included some scenarios to illustrate how these insurance concepts play out. Want to walk through those together? I love a good real-life example. It's one thing to talk about insurance in theory, but seeing it in action makes it all feel much more real.
Absolutely. So the first scenario features someone who's just bought a new car.
Exciting!
Always an exciting time. They're deciding on auto insurance and trying to figure out what type of coverage they need.
Which can feel like navigating a maze blindfolded. So how did they approach it?
Well, they started by asking the right questions. What are the minimum insurance requirements in their state? What level of coverage do they feel comfortable with? Can they afford a lower deductible for higher peace of mind? Or do they need to find a balance with their budget?
It's like finding that sweet spot between feeling protected but not breaking the bank on premiums.
Exactly. In this case, they decided on comprehensive and collision coverage with a $500 deductible, which felt like the right fit for their needs and budget. Their premium came out to $120 per month. And here's a pro tip they used. They bundled their auto insurance with their renter's insurance and scored a nice discount.
Bundling, it's not just for cable and internet anymore. I love that they found a way to save some money while still getting the coverage they needed.
Smart move. Now, the second scenario hits close to home for you. I believe it focuses on a person looking into life insurance as they plan for a growing family. They want to ensure their loved ones are financially secure, even if the unthinkable happens.
Definitely resonates with me right now. So walk me through their decision process.
Sure. They opted for a 20-year term life insurance policy with a $500,000 death benefit, which means their loved ones would receive that amount if anything were to happen to them within those 20 years. Their monthly premium, a very reasonable $40.
Wow, $40 a month for that peace of mind. That's incredible. It really highlights how affordable term life insurance can be, especially for younger, healthy individuals.
It's a powerful tool to protect your family's financial future without breaking the bank. And remember, these scenarios are just snapshots. Everyone's insurance needs are different, and it's about finding the right fit for your unique circumstances.
You've given us so much to think about already, but before we wrap up, the lesson emphasized one more crucial point: reviewing your insurance coverage regularly. Why is that so important?
Well, life is full of surprises,
Oh,
good and challenging, and your insurance needs to evolve right alongside you. Think of it like a yearly checkup, but for your financial well-being.
okay.
Big life events like getting married, buying a house, having a baby, or even starting a business can significantly impact your insurance needs.
So it's not just a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Exactly. For instance, if you become a homeowner, your renter's insurance won't magically transform into a homeowner's policy. You'll need to make that switch and ensure you have adequate coverage for your new property. And if you welcome a new addition to your family, you might want to revisit your life insurance to ensure it aligns with your growing family's needs.
It's like adjusting your financial safety net as life throws you curveballs, ensuring you're always protected.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Regularly reviewing your coverage ensures you have the right protection at the right time without overpaying for coverage you don't need, or, conversely, being caught underinsured.
This deep dive has been a game changer. I feel like I've gone from feeling intimidated by insurance to feeling empowered to make informed decisions. Thank you for breaking it all down so clearly.
My pleasure. Remember, knowledge is power. And when it comes to protecting yourself and your loved ones, a little insurance know-how goes a long way.
You heard it here, folks. Knowledge is power. Now, here's a final thought to ponder as you navigate the world of insurance. We've covered protecting your health, your belongings, your income, but what about something equally important, your ability to earn an income? That's where disability insurance comes in, a topic for another deep dive, perhaps. Until then, happy learning.